When I quit my six-figure tech sales job, it took me an entire year to make my first $1,000 online. Knowing what I know today, especially with AI, I probably could get to $10,000 per month in 30 days. And as someone who has over 400,000 subscribers on YouTube, I see a ton of videos about how to make money with Claude. But most of them are way too focused on the technicals and code. And the reality for most people is building is not even the hardest part, because getting your first paying client is actually the most difficult. And if you're starting your AI journey now, you probably feel lost. Which direction should you go? What business idea should you start? And how do you actually get your first paying client? So in this video, I'm gonna share what I would do if I was trying to make my first $10,000 online in the next 60 days. All the way from finding your business idea to signing your first clients, even if you're busy working a 9-to-5 job. This is the advice I gave to one of my clients, Sandy, who went from zero knowledge in AI to over 50,000 YouTube subscribers, and she's making over $40,000 per month with her AI business. My other client, Allison, went from an assistant job to just signing $50,000 in new clients last month. And Brandon went from $750 per month to making over $10,000 per month 30 days after working with me. Not gonna lie, I got this down to a science. So of course, I'm gonna show you how to sign your first client, but first let me show you the game plan on how you can do this even while you're busy working your 9-to-5 job. Now, the reason for why you haven't succeeded yet when it comes to making money with AI is a couple reasons. It's probably because you're jumping between different business ideas almost every week, right? Seeing another YouTube creator talking about something new, and you just can't stick with one thing. The other part is if you're busy working a 9-to-5, you probably can't manage your time properly, and it just feels like you don't have enough time, not enough energy to work on your own things. And the biggest mistake I see most people make is they spend so much time focused on the wrong things, typically building, right? Watching 4-hour tutorial videos on how to make a website. But you need to actually focus on the most important thing, which is sales, getting people to give you money. So I want to share a case study with you, which is my client, Sandy. So you might have seen her on YouTube already. She has like 50,000 YouTube subs. She makes $40,000 a month. But around 6 months ago, like she literally, I was starting to coach her and she had no idea about Claude or AI. So the first thing we did to kind of get her foot in the door was actually just go on Upwork, and she was just trying to find random AI jobs. And the thing that really worked well for her was she found this one company. They were looking for someone to do SEO blogs, and she was able to close them with no experience, no testimonials, literally nothing. And she did this while managing her time as a full-time sales insurance manager and also taking care of 3 kids. So realistically, the first thing in really starting a business while working a 9-to-5 is managing your time. So how do you actually plan your week? If you were to look at a 40-hour per week work week, essentially it would look like this. From 9 a.m. to 5, so 9 to 5, you will be working your full-time job. And that's totally fine, right? You got to pay the bills and all that kind of stuff. Keep it, okay? You can do what I'm about to share with you while working your full-time job. Now let's look at all the other hours that you have that aren't your full-time job. You have a full day on Saturday and Sunday. You have the mornings before your job. You also have the hours after your job. And for some of you guys, if you are working from home or your job is pretty chill, you probably can spend a couple hours doing your own thing while you're working your full-time job, right? So you just cannot make the excuse. And if you don't have time now, the question would be, when will you have time? Because you're always going to get busier as life goes on. So you might as well just take the opportunity and chance now while you can. And to be honest, if you're willing to spend 40 hours a week building another person's dream, you owe it to yourself to at least spend 10 hours a week building your own. Now, if you're looking to dive deeper and learn how to build your business using AI, I want to invite you to a free live training I have coming up. I'm going to show you how to pick your AI-powered business idea using your set of skills, knowledge, and experience, how to get in front of clients, whether it's building your personal brand or reaching out. And most importantly, we're going to dive deep into actually how to close clients. And I'm even going to be doing a live sales role play so you know exactly what to do and what to say once you're on that call. So if you want to sign up for that, I put a link in the description, and you want to hurry because last time we had over 1,000 people sign up and spots are limited. So secure them while you can, and I will see you live. So now that we got the excuse of, hey, you don't have time, because you do have time, just look at the hours during your week. The next thing we're going to cover is what are the 3 steps to actually get your first paying client in the AI space. The reason for why most people fail starting a business is a couple things. It's probably because you're spending way too much time researching or trying to make things perfect, and you're really just not starting. And you're spending all the time you have just doing the wrong things. And subconsciously, what you're actually doing is you're avoiding the real work that needs to be done. So I'm going to show you 3 steps that if you're able to complete these things, you will get your first paying client. So this comes from the Founder X model, which I created. And there's really 3 steps. It's very simple. If you can complete these 3 things, you can get your first client and eventually get to your first $10,000 per month in a matter of months if you really put in the work. Step number 1 is you just create an offer, meaning create something that you can sell. Right? And we'll go more into depth on exactly the business ideas and things you can sell. But the first step really is to have something to sell. It's not to build a personal brand, right? It's not doing a ton of research. It's just saying, hey, I want to sell this thing. Number 2 is going to be lead generation. There's really 2 ways to do lead generation if you're starting out. Number 1, you just reach out to people you want to work with, whether it's on Upwork, LinkedIn, cold email, doesn't matter. Number 2 is building a personal brand so that people come to you and you have a little bit of credibility so that when you reach out to them, at least you're not like a nobody, right? And step number 3 is monetization. At the end of the day, your success will be determined by how many calls can you book every single month. If you can book, let's say 20 calls a month, you got to close at least 1 person, right? The problem for most people is they just have no idea how to get the meeting to get an opportunity to sell. But if you're able to complete these 3 steps from offer, lead generation, and monetization, you will get your first client. That's really all it is. And if you want to scale from your first client to $10,000 per month, you really don't have to do anything new. You just have to repeat the process again and again and again. And that's how you can scale to $10,000 plus. Even for us, we do over $100,000 per month right now. And to be honest, I'm just following this step that I'm recommending you guys. We have an offer. We have a way to generate leads. For us, it's more about personal branding and YouTube, and we have a way to monetize. To make more money, what do we need to do? More lead generation, right? More content, more people know who I am. That's as simple as it really is. Now, if you're looking to build a 1-person business, eventually you'll get to the point where you're gonna need a website because you need some kind of digital presence for you to have a book a call page. Maybe it's a webinar or a free lead magnet or free giveaway so that, you get people's emails and you can actually contact them. And I wanna introduce you to .online, which is actually our partner for this video. So .online is actually a domain that you can actually use to register your website. So for example, I could have patrickdane.online. Now, why this is interesting is because, a lot of the other domains are taken, like the .com, .net. It's really hard to get like really cool words unless you're going to pay a lot of money. And .online is becoming more and more popular and more accepted. There's over 3.5 million .online domains actively in use. And it's really good for, solo entrepreneurs, small businesses where you're not really trying to spend a lot of money on a domain. You're just trying to get something going, like get your calendar page going and things like that. And because online is used in over 500 million searches per month, having it in your domain gets you more reach on search engines, meaning more people have a chance to click. You can get a .online domain at all major website builders like GoDaddy, Namecheap, Squarespace, Lovable, you name it. But if you want a special deal for your first year, check the link in the description and get your .online domain for your business website for just 99 cents for your first year if you use the code Patrick. So now that you understand the 3-step process on how to scale to $10,000 per month, I want to next introduce you to how do you actually find your business idea. So the reason why picking a business idea is so hard for many people is because you are probably overwhelmed with too many different options. You're waiting for the perfect idea that fits you, but there's never really anything perfect. And maybe you've even tried other business ideas and you just got burned and you were like, oh man, this stuff doesn't work. So my goal for you and what I'm about to show you next is how to find a business idea that fits your unique skills, knowledge, and experience, how to sell something that people actually want to buy, and how do you charge what you're worth, right? So don't charge by the hour. You don't have to do things for free. You could potentially make money on the first 30 days if you follow these steps. Now, what I'm about to show you is going to be called the offer triangle. And there's really 3 steps to this triangle. And once you get clarity on this concept, you'll know exactly what to sell. So the first thing of the triangle is number 1, which is what to sell. Okay. So if you're starting out and you're trying to get into the AI space, the easiest thing to sell right now is an AI powered service. What does that mean exactly? It just means you're selling a service that a human would normally do, except you're using Claude and other AI tools to actually do the work. For example, if you wanted to be a LinkedIn ghostwriter, technically this job has been around even before AI, but with AI, could you just use Claude to write 70% of the the ghostwriting and then you just edit the last 30% to actually make it good? Yeah, absolutely. These are the easiest things to sell, right? Just taking something a human already does and just replacing it 70% of the way with AI, and you deliver the results. Now, step 2 of the offer triangle is who do you sell it to? The most important part, if you want to make money with AI and you want to sell like to businesses, for example, is you need to find people who are able and willing to spend money. If they're not able to spend money, meaning they're broke, don't go after them. I have a lot of clients who are starting out and they always tell me like, I want to go for the individual coach or the individual real estate agent. And I'm like, well, what are the chances they're going to pay you $5,000 a month for your ghostwriting? It's like 0 practically, right? Because they don't make any money. Why not just sell to a business that has money and they're looking for some kind of AI person to help them out, right? And a lot of times beginners don't have confidence because they think they have to start from the bottom of the barrel, but that's not true. I have a lot of my clients, they just jump straight to the top. So for example, one of my clients, Allison, she was selling ERP automations. If you don't know what that is, doesn't matter, it's like AI automations. And she doesn't really have much experience doing it, but she just cold DM people on LinkedIn and she was able to make like more than 50K the last month selling these kind of automations. And she didn't really have that much experience or credentials. She just chose a market that had a painful problem. And because there's not a lot of people selling the same thing, people are willing to talk to her. Now, the third piece of the offer triangle is going to be pricing. How much do you actually charge? So I like to work backwards from pricing, meaning if you're going to sell B2B, you might as well just sell high ticket, right? I've tested this myself. If you were to sell something for $500 a month, you would think that it's easier to sell something at $500 per month compared to $5,000 per month. It's actually the same difficulty because a person who's willing to pay $500, they don't have money. So if you're taking $500 a month from them, it feels like a lot. If you're selling something that is costing $5,000 a month, but it's to a big company, it's a drop in the bucket. So if you can get in the door with a company that's able and willing to spend, you can actually charge based on perceived value. And perceived value just means how much does the buyer think it's worth? If you're doing some LinkedIn ghostwriting, for example, and you got them one client and that one client's worth $50,000 and they only paid you $5,000 a month, that's a 10x return on investment on one client. If you sign 2 clients at that price range, that's literally 20x return on investment. And this works because one of my clients, Brandon, he actually works in the construction space, and I basically helped him go from practically 0 to making 10K per month in 30 days. And how we did it was he targeted construction companies in the glazing industry. And glazing just means like those fancy wine cellars, fancy bathrooms, like they use a lot of glass in these construction jobs. And each construction job that they do, the cheapest is 15K, but it could go all the way to 50K, even over 100K per job. And so what he does is he writes their content and he coaches the founder on how to make video content, basically just content marketing for LinkedIn, right? And you could use a lot of AI to help write the scripts. And again, it's like AI is not really the big part of it. It's just delivering the results. How you do it is just using AI to make it easier for you, right? And just DMing people on LinkedIn and hitting up these companies that are already really big, but they don't have a social media presence. He was able to make $10,000 in 30 days, right? And he didn't have to charge low off the bat. I just told him straight up, like, the value that you provide, you should be charging at least like 2 to 3K per month. He's like, oh, really? Like who would pay for this? Because I've never done this before. And I was like, trust me, dude, like if you help him get one client, it makes it so worth it. And with that mindset, that's how he's able to close so many people. Now, I actually have a free gift for you, and that's gonna be the AI business idea generator. So it's gonna be a Claude skill. You can go and link in the description, download it for free, double click it, install it into your computer in like 10 seconds. And here is what it's going to allow you to do. Once you put it in your Claude, you just type in /PD, AI business idea generator, and then you press enter. It's going to prompt you with some questions, and you basically just answer the questions, filling out your skills, knowledge, and experience. Once you type it in, it's going to give you 2 paths, right? If you want to sell an AI powered service like what we've been talking about, then you're going to go path A. If you want to be more of a creator like me and you're creating content around AI, which you can make a lot of money doing that too, you would go with path B, right? For today's demonstration, we're going to go for path A. What will happen is once you fill it out, it's going to give you an entire report on what kind of business idea will uniquely fit you. So in this example, I just base it off of my real clients, but to keep them anonymous, I changed a couple things. And for this person, their offer is I'm going to help direct to consumer brands, meaning like it could be like a candy company, energy drink company, vitamins, right? Companies are essentially selling like products to consumers. And then the opportunity for this particular person based on their experience is, hey, they're going to make meta ads for these direct to consumer brands because these brands just don't have enough capacity to produce all these ads, right? They have money to spend on the ads. They just don't have anyone to make them in the hundreds or the thousands. So when you use my Claude skill, it's going to give you the landscape, right? Of, okay, like what does your offer triangle look like, which we covered, what to sell, who to sell it to, what to charge. And then it goes more depth into like, okay, like this is the things that you can sell. This is who you sell it to. These are the people paying money for this particular offer. And then how much to charge, right? And then it's also going to give you some competitors that also sell the same thing. Now, one of the best ways to validate whether an offer works or not is just to find people who already make money doing it and see what they're selling, look at the price points. If it looks like they're making pretty good money and they have a bunch of employees, probably does make a lot of money. You can check on LinkedIn for the employee count, right? Then if you just kind of take inspiration from their offer and do it yourself, then you already know you have an offer that works. The only challenge next is getting in front of people to sell the offer, but you don't have to question whether the offer works because it's already validated using the skill. So if you want to get that free skill, check the link in the description to find your unique business idea. And at the end, once you do the skill, I want you to go through an exercise, and that's simplifying what you do. So you need to simplify what kind of business you're building into one sentence. And it goes like this: I help X achieve Y by doing Z. X being who you help, Y being the outcome or result that you're selling, and Z is what are you actually doing? What's your unique thing? So an example for me, for Founder X, which is basically my business program, I help 9-to-5 employees build profitable one-person businesses by selling AI-powered services. So if I were to apply this to me, I can say what I do in one sentence, and it's very clear. If you cannot explain your offer in one sentence, then you don't really have a real offer, and you probably don't even understand what you're selling. So you have to get it to a point where you can synthesize it and simply say it in one sentence and communicate that value to somebody else. Otherwise, they will not buy because they will never buy what they don't understand. So now that we've covered how to actually build your offer, and I gave you my free Claude skill for that, the next thing we're going to get into is how do you actually get in front of clients to have the opportunity to even sell them. So the reason why most people get stuck in building their business is, number one, they're afraid of rejection. They don't really put themselves out there, and they don't do any outbound. They don't do any sales calls. So if you want to succeed, you have to understand you need to put yourself in a situation where you're going to look like a fool, or you have the opportunity to look like a fool. Meaning, yes, you might succeed and you sell the client, great, or they totally reject you and you feel bad about it. But if you never put yourself at risk and have the opportunity to fail, then you're not really doing anything worthwhile. And that's why your business never takes off. You have to take some level of risk, even if it's just a fear of rejection, in order to get to the other side. Because majority of the world, they're so afraid of selling, they're never even going to send that first DM. So you got to start and do something. And if you think about what I'm teaching throughout this entire video, it's actually extremely simple, right? It's like step 1, step 2, step 3, like anybody can do it. But the truth is, although it is simple, not everybody has the courage to do these things because they're too afraid of rejection. So I'll go over the most common fears I see that beginners have, and I'm gonna help you overcome them. The first is, nobody will take me seriously. I'm just an employee at a company. I don't have any proof or testimonials. Nobody can trust me. You might be thinking, I wouldn't even buy for myself, right? And these all stem from a lack of confidence, because you're trying to sell something you've never really done. So technically, the client that buys, they are taking a risk on you, but you have to accept it because you have to start from somewhere, right? You can't just like not do anything. Otherwise, your business will never get off the ground. Now, to overcome this fear, I have a concept for you that will help you build that confidence, and it's called pulse on market. And pulse on market, it just means having a deep understanding and sensitivity for everything that's happening in your market. If you do not understand your market, you cannot expect anyone to buy from you. So at least do the basic research. And the basic research just means 3 things. Number 1, understand the pains. Understand the ideal customers, burning problems, what's keeping them up at night, what's wasting their money, wasting their time, what are their fears, right? And what is everyone complaining about but no one's solving? And if you're selling something in AI, I'm telling you right now, AI is the pain. All these old school companies that have low profit margins, they're wondering, what can we do with AI? Our team has no idea about AI. I don't even know how to use Claude. Like, you can be their AI person to help guide them through this next phase of business. Number 2 is understanding, okay, you understand the pains, but you need to understand the desires of the ideal customer. So deep down, what is it that they want? Is it to make more money? Okay, if they make more money, how does that change their life? Are they going to buy a new house? Are they going to be more financially secure? Whatever their deep emotional desires are, you have to show that you're going to be the one that helped them get there. If you don't understand what they want, they're never going to buy from you. And the third step is the vehicle, meaning your offer. How is your vehicle going to help them get away from pain and closer to pleasure, right? And you're essentially selling your solution as a vehicle. And the way I think about it is this: pain is the number one emotion to get someone to take an action. If you broke your leg, you're not going to do nothing. You're going to do something. You're going to go to the doctor and get that fixed, right? The second strongest emotion to get someone to take an action is desire or pleasure, okay? So the things that we actually want. If your offer or your vehicle gets them away from the pain and closer to pleasure, you're not really having to sell anything. It's just positioning. You just make yourself look like the obvious choice to get them to where they already want to go. So this is the difference between like a sleazy salesperson that's just like shoving a product down your throat and someone who just coming off as more consultative and they're just helping out. And in reality, it's just high level sales tactics. Okay. I've been using this, when I worked at Oracle, a YC-backed startup, even when I'm working for myself, and nobody really understands these techniques. They don't really realize what I'm doing in the moment, and it just works. Now I want to give you a practical tip on if you were selling AI services, what kind of companies you should go for. Some of the easiest people to sell right now are businesses that have very low profit margin and are not very like technology savvy. So some examples might be like groceries or any kind of distribution, trucking company, right? Trucking and freight, staffing agencies, manufacturing, HVAC, right? So these are businesses that they do produce a lot of revenue, but it's a lot of human labor and they're essentially trying to increase revenue, decrease costs, right? The thing is, if you find these thin margins, if you're able to just help a little bit, it makes such a big difference, right? Because for these razor thin profit businesses, right? If you can help automate a little bit in their business, it makes such a huge difference. For example, if they're paying a couple people $50,000 a year and they're just moving numbers around, right? Technically, could an automation replace like 4 employees that are getting paid $50K per year? Yeah, that's like a $200,000 saving of just like replacing the people that do the Excel sheets, right? So these kind of companies, thin profit margin, very boring kind of businesses, they are ripe for, some kind of AI service or automation. Now, the second type of people I would actually go for is anyone who's participating in this major AI bubble. As you know, there's a lot of these AI companies that are raising like tens of millions of dollars, right? And the thing is, they have so much money to spend. They're all unprofitable, but they're still spending millions of dollars on like paying influencers, creators, running ads. And the model is like, hey, like VCs, the people that back these companies, they know that only a small percentage will survive and that one winner will pay for all the losses. So if you kind of just take advantage of this opportunity, these guys don't even look for a return on investment. So if you did ghostwriting for a SaaS founder, for example, on LinkedIn, like they want to grow their following and they want to use VC money to do it, right? Like any of these tech companies, man, I promise you, like, because I'm in this space, they're just throwing money at everything. And if you can show like it kind of works, they're down to do the work with you, okay? Now, it's a little bit harder to sell into these tech companies because they're smarter, they're savvier, they understand AI. But if you did something like, hey, I'm gonna build your personal brand for the founder. Yes, I use AI on the back end, but at the end of the day, we sell the result, they will buy. At the end of the day, you need to understand what's their pain that they want to get away from, what's their desire, and how can you get them from where they are to where they actually want to go. So when it comes to reaching out to these companies, what is the easiest way to do it? You essentially take the pain and desires I was showing you before and you reflect it into the content itself. So if you're trying to sell to an AI-backed startup, right? And their founder wants to build a personal brand on LinkedIn, you literally just DM them and say, hey, I saw that you just raised $10 million. Congratulations, that's a big move. Hey, I noticed on LinkedIn that you've been posting here and there, but you're kind of barely getting like 5 likes a post. And I'm surprised because you have a lot of knowledge and I feel like a lot of people should know, like, want to follow your story if you kind of knew the right strategies. I actually help these kind of companies or these kind of people, grow on LinkedIn and all kind of whatever, right? Show that you kind of do the work. And if it makes sense, hey, how about we jump on a call, right? It's just simple as that. And I actually would use a Loom video to kind of explain it because it's more visual. So if I said that on a Loom video, had like my screen open and their LinkedIn profile open and it was just like selling them, it works because I've done it before. I've sold personal branding to AI startups and they absolutely do need it. And so I only use this example because I've done it myself, right? And it's a hot market, to be honest, right? Because they all have big egos, they all have big budgets, and they're willing to spend. If you can demonstrate that, you can solve the problem. And when it comes to creating content, it's the same exact thing. You understand who you're trying to sell to, make a video agitating a problem and show you have a solution. It's really as simple as that. Now, I'm not going to go super deep into like the copy of the messages and the content just because I already have other videos on my YouTube channel specifically covering those things. So you can actually check out my channel and check those out. But if you want to learn this more in depth, definitely check out my free training with the link in the description. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is going to be monetization. Once you actually generate the lead, you get a meeting with a potential client. What do you actually say on the phone? And it's pretty simple, to be honest, right? You get on the call, you set the expectations, you ask a bunch of questions, you get the problem, you understand where they want to go, and then you pitch them on how your thing is going to get them there. So I'll do a live demonstration just showing you how to set up the call. I'm not going to go through the entire thing because it's going to take too long, but it'll give you a gist of like how this goes. So if I DM somebody on LinkedIn and I'm like, hey man, let's get on a call, and like, okay, sure, let's just do it, right? They're essentially coming on for free consulting, but I'm selling them. That's the idea. So let's say this guy's name is John. I'm just going to like freestyle it, okay? Hey John, how's it going, man?
Oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Where you calling from? So it's like a bunch of small talk, lasts for like 20 seconds. And then, I know where he's from. I was like, oh, I'm calling you from Vietnam. All right, cool. Okay, let's get into it. Hey, John, I want to be respectful of your time. So how about we go ahead and get started? Is that cool?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, so we talked a little bit on LinkedIn on how maybe I can potentially grow your LinkedIn following, right? Obviously, you raise a lot of money. You want to get your name out there, recruit more people, get more clients. I totally understand that. So for this call, what I thought we'd do is I want to kind of ask you a couple questions, see what your goals are, see what the biggest challenges are, and see if whether or not I can help. If I can help, we can talk more about that towards the end of the call. But if I can't, that's totally fine. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
Okay, cool. Now, the first thing I kind of want to cover is, so you guys just raised 10 mil. Congratulations, by the way. I see you post on LinkedIn like every other day. It's not super consistent. So I was just curious, what was your thought process on even making these posts to begin with?
Oh yeah, I've been posting because, like my investors told me to do it and they said I should build my personal brand, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just like trying some stuff out.
Okay, interesting. So if you were to continue posting, let's say more consistently, ultimately, like what is your goal? So you can kind of see like how I set it up, right? It's like a natural conversation. It's not like I'm overly selling, and I'm asking the right questions for me to, number one, understand the desired outcome of what they want. And then after that, I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions to agitate their pain, meaning why can't they figure this out by themselves? Why are they only getting 6 likes a post? What are they going to do about it? What have they tried already? And my goal is to get them to say, I've tried this, I've tried that, nothing worked. I tried this agency, he scammed me. It's this problem after problem after problem. Then I'm going to take all the problems this person has and reverse them into solutions. And that's the thing I'm going to sell. So even though you have an idea of an offer, like let's say it's, $3K per month for some LinkedIn posts, the way you sell it is you don't sell the post. You just take all the problems he has, reverse it into solutions, and you just literally mirror his problems. Once you do that the right way, the person will naturally feel like, wow, this guy actually gets it. Like, how do I work with you, right? It's as simple as that. You are a mirror to their problems and you showing them you have a solution. Now, if you want to see the full live role play, I actually do it on the free 3-day live training that I have coming up. You can check the link in the description to sign up for that. But there, I actually show you the entire process so you can know from A to Z on how to do it, right? For a YouTube video, it's going to take too long because a call might be like 30 minutes, right? But I just want to give you the high level understanding so that you can just implement that right away, and then it'll make your sales call so much more smoother. And once you close the person, you will have completed the first loop of the Founder X model, which is offer, lead generation, monetization. And if you want to scale to 10K per month, all you really need to do is do it again and again and again and again, and you continue to stack the clients until you're at 10K. And you can even see, I've been using this model all the way to getting to 100K per month. So if it works for 100K, I don't see why it wouldn't work for you. All right, so that's the entire blueprint on what I would do if I was trying to get to my first $10,000 in the next 60 days. Now, even though I gave you the entire blueprint, you're still gonna run into some challenges. For example, how do you know if your offer is actually any good? What if you don't get any views in your content and nobody responds to your DMs? And what if you just can't convince anyone to buy your AI services? So if that's you, you have 2 options from here. Number 1, you wanna make sure to check out my 3-day live training where I'm gonna go deeper into all these topics and give you the step-by-step playbook. And option 2, you can actually book a call with me and my team, and we'll come up with a custom game plan specifically on how you can start your AI-powered business. And I put the links in the description for both of those options. And if you wanna get a new domain name and set up your website, make sure to check out .online domains. But either way, don't let this be a video that you do nothing with. Take action and become the person you know you were meant to be. And if you want to watch another video, check out this one right here where I show you the best one-person businesses to start using AI.